in the last few years, I have talked to so many women who have just been completely frustrated to the point of anger, to the point of tears, even, by feeling like their body is betraying them. And I really get that, because I remember being at that place where I know how to eat healthy. I'm putting every bit of my energy and effort into doing it. It's not getting me anywhere. And I hear the same kind of thing when I talk to women now. I'll have these calls with women, and they are in tears over feeling betrayed by their bodies. And at a time when our hormones are kind of all over the place anyway, we know that we're moving into this perimenopausal and menopausal stage. It just makes it even that much more difficult when we're suffering from the side effects of those kinds of things, right? Like the hot flashes and the brain fog and the achiness and crazy cravings. And then you couple that with, now we've got this belly fat that's sort of come out of nowhere, it feels like. And we put our mind to, okay, like it's after summer, I need to lose weight, for example. We put our mind to it. We know how to eat healthy. We put those things in place. We do some meal prepping. We start to exercise more because we know those are the things to do, right? And we do that, and then we don't get any result from it. It's like, 15 years ago, I could cut my calories for a week or two and I could drop 5 or 10 pounds easily. So I completely relate to that frustration when I'm talking to women about this journey and about the struggles that they're having, and they are just frustrated beyond words. Oftentimes those conversations wind up with them in tears. And yeah, sometimes those conversations, well, I'll say a lot of times, those conversations veer into even more than just the physical. Oftentimes those conversations go into more than just the physical. And it can be, I'm worried about my health. I want to be around for my kids to grow up, or my kids are already grown. I want to be around for my grandkids to grow up. It can be those kinds of health concerns. And it can be concerns, or at least I won't say a concern in the sense that something is wrong, but it will be a concern about how my libido is different, is gone. I don't want to be intimate. I just don't have the urge to do it. I'm exhausted. And by the end of the night, I can't muster up the energy to do that. In addition to how I may be feeling about my body, embarrassed, ashamed. I don't want him to see me naked. So we'll have all kinds of conversations around all of these things. And the bottom line is that my heart goes out to these women, because I was there, and I know how frustrating and sad it can be. And my heart goes out to them because they really are trying everything they know. Many of them are trying everything they know to do. They are doing it on their own, and some of them have even hired other coaches, or they've bought into big weight loss industry programs that are just not working for them. And so again, I feel for you when you have that level of, you're putting in that amount of effort, but you have that level of frustration because you're not getting anything back for the energy and, frankly, the financial commitment that you've put out too. And so what I want to talk with you today about is, I want to tell you sort of the 5 steps, if you will, or the 5M step framework that I work with women on, the things that you have to have in place that really nobody is talking about. If you want to get from this space of the extra layers of fat, the feeling fatigued, the brain fog, the stress, the hormones feeling like they're out of whack and you're not having the urge to be intimate anymore. Maybe you're moody. Maybe you're just completely exhausted. Like, all these things are going on. There are 5 steps that need to be in place for you in a different way than they have been in place for you in the past, for you to get beyond this, for you to get to a place where you can make progress, feel more energized, drop some pounds and inches, not feel as bloated, and start to level your hormones off in a way that you feel better. And you also can reboot your metabolism, get it working for you rather than against you. And that is the big problem. At this stage in life, the problem is our hormones are naturally shifting. There are fluctuations going on that are a natural part of this transition. And our metabolism, if you are my age, over 50, our metabolism has taken a beating over the years. And so not only is it naturally sort of downcycling, if you will, but we've done a number on it because we grew up in that era of diets. I don't remember a time when I wasn't on a diet. When I was in my teens and 20s and even into my 30s, I was pretty much always on a diet. And I think you probably can look back and say that you were pretty much on a diet much of the time too. And when we did that to ourselves, so on top of the natural metabolism changes, we abused our metabolisms, and now we are seeing the result of that. And so it's compounding this menopausal transition for us. So again, what I want to talk to you about today is just straight out give you 5 steps that you need to have in place. Think of it as a 5-step framework that when you get these things in place, it will make all the difference in the world in this struggle that you're dealing with. The first one is meals. I call it the 5M framework, but bottom line, this is about your nutrition. And I know everyone says, well, I know how to eat healthy. The problem is it's not that you don't know how to eat healthy. You don't know how to eat healthy for the body you have now. And what you really need to have in place is an approach to eating. It's not a diet. It's not about cutting out every bit of sugar. It's not about never having an adult beverage again, or never having dessert, or never eating carbs. It's about having an approach to food, an approach to how you eat now that can help you lose the weight, and it can help you lose that weight in a way that is doable. It is sustainable. It is not something that you go on and you eat this way for a temporary amount of time and then you go off of it and you go back to the way that you ate. And it's not the same for everybody. Your approach to food has to fit into your lifestyle. It has to take into account the way that you have eaten in years past, how much you have dieted, what that diet has looked like, or those diets have looked like. How much have you been eating for, let's say, the last, 4, 6, 8 months? What has your normal intake look like? I take all of that into account. When I talk about customizing an approach to food for women, it's not a one-size-fits-all meal plan. It is taking into account a lot of different factors and then starting at a baseline for where your nutrition needs to be now, and then moving forward from there based on how your body responds. So that's the first thing, is having a really customized, dialed in, healthy approach to food that you can learn to implement and that actually works for you, where you're not going to be hungry. You're not going to be like having these crazy cravings. You're going to feel satisfied, and you're going to not only fuel your body. We hear that a lot. Like, you want to make sure that food is fuel. It is. But food is also information for your brain and your body. And it's just like coding a computer. We learned computer language to code computers for us to put in with a specific output in mind. Same thing with our food. Food is information in addition to fuel. So we want to put that information into our body with the idea of getting out what we want. And for many of you, that will initially be weight loss. It will be toning your body up. It will be losing bloat. It will be increasing your energy. When we do that in the right way, instead of you downcycling your energy and feeling crappier, you're going to actually teach your body that food is not a bad thing. It's not something to store as fat, but it's to be used to stoke your system to have the energy that you need to get through the day, but also in a way that you can burn calories throughout your day effectively so you feel really good and you reach your goals. That meal plan, if you will, is the first M. The second M is you've got to have a movement plan. You know that you need to be exercising. And oftentimes what women will come to me and say is, I know I want to lose weight, and so I've cut my calories really low and I've increased my exercise. And the problem is that oftentimes that comes back to bite us in the ass, because exercise is a stressor on our system. And when our hormones are already out of whack, introducing the wrong kind of movement can further stress our systems. And it can, in effect, our system can say, oh, hold up, no, I'm actually not going to burn calories and build muscle. You're going to do all of this excessive workout, and what you're going to get for it is being really, really sore and wanting to quit, but you're not going to see the result that you want. That's where my approach, that the approach that we take with women when they come into our 12-week program, is that we take the guesswork out of that exercise. We don't overstress and strain your body. We put exercises together in a really effective way so that it, again, is rebooting your metabolism, getting your body to burn fat much more effectively and burn calories in a way that you're going to be able to drop fat and build muscle. And I know there are trainers out there who say you cannot simultaneously lose fat and build muscle. And I beg to differ. A lot of people can't, but most women that I work with who are at this stage of life, this perimenopausal and menopausal stage of life, our bodies are composed in a way right now that we actually can do that at the same time. And that's exactly what I teach women to do. I customize their workouts in a way that they're burning fat, they are also toning up, and with consistency, they will reach their goals, and they will do it in a much shorter period of time than you would think. You do not have to work out 45 minutes to an hour a day. The women in my 12-week MRS program work out 3 days a week, about 20 to 25, maybe 27 minutes a day. You don't have to be a gym rat to get this done. It's all about, you hear, work smarter, not harder. Well, that's the approach that I take with movement for you. Nobody wants to be at the gym sweating their ass off and getting sore and potentially getting injured and stressing out your body, not to see a change when you look in the mirror. We get a change when you look in the mirror and stand on the scale too. So that's the second M. The third M has to do with having a stress management plan in place. And this is not just the typical kind of stress that I'm talking about. When we think of stress, we think about like, oh, our husband's stressing us out, our kids are stressing us out, work stresses us out. We think about all the external factors that stress you out, right? Well, that's one part of having a stress management plan in place. Another part of that is that there are internal systems that we're working with that are under a lot of stress for a number of reasons. And so we put a systematic plan in place that manages both that internal systematic stress. Your digestive system, for example, is under a lot of stress. If you're constipated or you have issues with the runs, your digestive system is not working effectively. It is effectively stressed out. And that's just one example of how we're going to manage that internal stress. Keep you from, you'll think of your cortisol levels like, oh, my cortisol is high. Well, it may be, but it also may have to do with how your body's metabolizing cortisol. It is the way that other hormones in your system are out of balance that is further stressing your system. We put a plan in place and work with you in a very customized way to help you manage that internal and external stress so that it doesn't negatively impact your health and your goals for weight loss. The fourth M has to do with mindset. And I know that's really a popular way to throw around this idea that, it's a mental game. It's about your mindset. And I want to talk to you about this in a little bit more than just a mindset way, because I do, put it under the mindset category here when I talk about it. Mainly because, 5Ms, it's, a framework that's the 5M framework. But the reality is that at this stage in life, especially over 40, moving into menopause, we have likely raised families, we've built successful careers, we're at a real transitional space in life, physically and emotionally and psychologically. And that's what mindset has to do with. There's an emotional and psychological component to this health journey at this stage. It's not just about fitting in our jeans, right? It's not just about looking good in a bathing suit. It's about who I am, my next phase of life, what I value, how I identify, who I am and who I want to be, how I want to show up. That's very emotional and psychological. And then you add to that the very complex situation around how we feel about our bodies, and there is a big hunk of this that is emotional and psychological. And that's what we dig into with women in our 12-week program. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about the mindset shift that has to happen. I'm talking about working with you on your thought processes, working with you on all of the baggage that has come along with you to this space in your over 40, over 50 life. All of the experiences that we've had and how we process or don't process those experiences. See, those are the root issues. Those are some of the root causes, and a lot of them are unresolved root causes that have negatively complicated and negatively impacted our weight and our health, and where we are at this transitional place that makes it a lot more complex than just going, oh, well, let's balance our hormones and everything is okay. I help you process through those things. I help you become really aware of those thought processes and those experiences, unpack them, if you will, and put with that unpacking of that thought processes and those thought processes and those experiences, put with that real proven strategy that can help you to deal with it when the mind muck comes up. I am not going to stand here and promise you that we're going to solve all of your problems and you're never going to, for example, talk negatively to yourself again. I'm never going to promise you that. But what I can promise you is that I will help you with strategies for how to become aware of that, how to catch those thoughts, how to redirect them, refocus them, and subsequently put a lot of really successful strategies in place so that it will keep those negative thoughts from holding you back in the future. That's when you really can get to a place where you grasp that shift in identity and you stop starting over on Monday. You stop thinking of living healthy as a list of actions that you need to take, check off on your list, right? And you start thinking about it more in terms of a true transformation in how you show up every day and who you are. And when you can make that shift, living in this healthier way becomes much more second nature to you. And with consistency, you don't have to think about it. It doesn't have to be something like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this today to live another healthy day in my new lifestyle. No, it just becomes who you are. The lifestyle becomes how you show up every day. That's when you truly make a transformation, and that's when you truly have a mindset shift, if you will. The last M has to do with how you get all this done. How do you get a plan in place? How do you then be consistent with it? How do you stay motivated? How do you stay accountable so that you actually can get to your goals and then sustain them? And that has to do with having a mentor. I don't think any of us has ever gotten where we are successfully without some type of guidance. And we don't think anything of having a mentor in college, having a mentor at work, particularly early in our careers or as we move to the next levels of our careers. We, in fact, invest a lot of time, energy, and money in hiring executive mentors, going and furthering our training or our education. Those are all mentors that guide us to that next level. But when it comes to thinking about our own personal health and our personal welfare and our advancing ourselves personally in a much more effective way, that's where we fall short and we go, oh, wait, it becomes selfish of me to invest time, energy, and money in a mentor. I don't need someone to show me how to do this. I should be able to do it on my own. And I would encourage you to question that line of thinking. For one, how has that worked out for you so far? It hasn't. Or you wouldn't be in tears. You wouldn't feel like you do each day. You wouldn't look in the mirror and constantly criticize yourself for how you feel and how you look. So it hasn't worked out for you so far. Next, I would really encourage you to question that line of thinking in terms of how it impacts your family, your friends, and yourself, and how it will continue to impact you in the future. Because I would be willing to bet that everyone in your life, including you, is suffering from you having that line of thinking about your own personal journey, your own personal journey to health, mental and physical health. So it's not selfish for you to get a mentor, someone to guide you and help you. And I would really encourage you to think about this from this perspective too. You know, you can go out and you can invest in a program that has a bot, as a quote unquote coach, or you can, sign up for this sort of DIY on your own kind of program. And maybe you can do that for a lot less money than you can hiring a guide, someone who has expertise, in that area. But again, how has that worked out for you? All the Nutrisystem, Weight Watcher, Optivia, all of those programs have been temporary fixes along the way that may or may not have gotten you any kind of progress. And maybe it was the cheap route, but it didn't really help you to transform. And you didn't really have someone who was alongside of you, invested in your goals like you are, who really wants you to succeed, and someone who has been where you are, faced the challenges that you're facing, and is right there alongside you every step of the way, helping you to overcome it by lighting the path for you so that you don't struggle with this time-consuming journey to figure it out, and how much do you have to research, and how much do you have to put into, like, mentally and physically, all the trial and error. Like, just think about that for a moment. When you have a mentor who is really someone who not only has the expertise but the experience to help you get where you want to be, isn't that, like, what do they say? The path between points A and B is shortest when it's a straight line, right? That's what I'm talking about in terms of you having that guide, that mentor to help you get from where you are now, feeling miserable and sick of thinking about this struggle every single day when you wake up, to getting to a place where you get the weight off, you have the energy, you have the confidence, and you feel comfortable in your own skin, and you solve this problem once and for all. It is absolutely, hands down, one of the most overlooked parts of this process, and it's one of the most vital. So the 5-step framework for you to get from where you are now in menopause and feeling like crap physically and mentally, it's about your meals, about your movement, about being able to manage stress, about really being able to shift your mindset, and about you getting a guide who can help you along that path, teach you the very next right step that you need to take, light your path to success, and really help you solve the problem once and for all. That's what I have for you guys today. I've thought about this, and it has weighed heavily on me all week as I've had just so many calls and so many discussions with women who, again, have been in tears. And it just breaks my heart to see and to know that so many of you are out there struggling with this. And it's all smoke and mirrors out on the internet and all this contradictory information. And truly, I think the weight loss industry has failed us as a group of women who have almost been kind of sloughed off to the side. You're over 40, over 50, you're, getting to be kind of frumpy, you probably are past your prime, if you will, sexually and from a career standpoint. You're getting closer to retirement. Like, they don't invest in us. And I think that's a crying damn shame, because we are a force to be reckoned with. So don't let them put baby in the corner, if you will. This is a challenge that you can definitely face head on. It has obstacles for sure, but you can overcome those and be just as vibrant and empowered and beautiful and happy and healthy as you ever were. In fact, I would argue that you can be all those things in a much more fulfilling and better way than you ever have before. And yes, you can enjoy sex too, and you deserve to. Thanks, you guys, for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know if this was helpful, and I will see you right back here next week.